Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back. Thank you so much for clicking on the video. I hope you guys are still playing Elden Ring because I definitely am. Today we are going to be looking at one of the best in slot tank builds to use in Elden Ring. Anybody that's a fan of strength builds in particular is definitely going to be a fan of this one. Real quick, I just wanted to let you guys know that I started my own line of PCs with Apex Gaming. If you are in the market for a brand new PC and you don't have all the cash right now, Apex Gaming does offer financing options. Also, don't forget to use my code COLD to save you up to $250 on your brand new Apex Gaming PC. This setup is designed to maximize your overall survivability while at the same time dealing massive amounts of damage. To be honest, you can never go wrong with a pure strength setup. Nothing is going to beat raw damage because at the end of the day, it's effective against every enemy in Elden Ring. This build gets increasingly better over time as you continue to level up your strength and endurance. As your strength increases over time, you will be able to wield powerful weapons that deal massive amounts of damage. As your strength increases, you will be able to wield some of the most powerful strength weapons in Elden Ring, including the Guts Greatsword and the Giant Crusher Hammer. We also can't forget the ability to wield some of the best shields in the game that are going to increase our survivability overall. As your endurance increases, you can equip better armor that's going to give you more defense, and at the end of the day, the more endurance you have, the stronger the armor you can equip, and the more efficient you are going to be in combat. If you just started the game recently, or if you just started a new character, your attributes at level 50 could look something like this. A quick disclaimer, you will not be able to utilize this build to its full potential until you reach endgame. However, you definitely have to start somewhere, and that's exactly what I'm going to help you guys with. The three main attributes you're going to focus on for a build like this is going to be vigor, endurance, and strength. Prioritizing these three main attributes at least early in the game is going to increase your survivability. Like I mentioned, endurance is going to determine how many more attacks you can deal and also how much armor and equipment you can carry. And then strength essentially is how much damage you are going to deal at the early stages of the game. I also recommend increasing your intelligence to at least 12 so you can utilize one of the best defensive spells in the game, Scholar's Shield. These same principles are going to apply as you get closer to level 100. As you can see here, we have our vigor at 40. I highly recommend increasing your endurance as much as you possibly can over time, because if you remember, the more endurance we have, the more armor we can equip, and essentially the more equipment we can hold. We also increased our strength to 40 and our faith to 15 so we can utilize the Flame Grant Me Strength incantation, which is going to increase our physical and fire affinity attack power by 20%. At level 150, your attributes would look similar to this. We have vigor at 50, endurance at 45, we reached the soft cap for strength at 60, and we also increased our faith to 25 so we could utilize the Golden Vow incantation, which is going to give us an additional 15% offense and defense on our build. The stats at level 200 could look something like this. We have vigor at 60, we increased our mind to 20, endurance at the soft cap of 60, and lastly, strength increased to 80, which means lots of raw damage. I am currently in New Game Plus 8. My character is level 250. For vigor, I have 80, mind at 33, endurance 80, strength also at 80, and we have our faith at 25. So again, we can utilize the Flame Grant Me Strength and Golden Vow incantations, which are going to increase our offense and defense simultaneously. Now for this build, I actually used two different weapons. The first weapon I used is the Heavy Greatsword. As you can see here, my Guts Greatsword is fully upgraded. We have 349 plus 466 physical attack power. I highly recommend using the Lion's Claw Ash of War for your Greatsword. In one of the more recent patches, they actually increased the overall attack speed and damage of this ability, and honestly, it's one of the best options. When choosing the Ash of War, I decided to go with the Heavy Affinity, which gives us A tier strength scaling. Keep in mind, in order to wield the Guts Greatsword, you need at least 31 strength and 12 dexterity. If you are looking for an alternative option, I highly recommend using the Giant Crusher Colossal Weapon. This massive hammer deals 330 plus 548 physical attack power. We are taking advantage of the Royal Knight's Resolve Ash of War using the Heavy Affinity, which is going to give us S tier strength scaling. However, keep in mind you need at least the bare minimum of 60 strength to even utilize this incredible colossal weapon. We also have a Glintstone Staff and a Sacred Seal on this build. The Glintstone Staff is used to cast a powerful defensive spell called the Scholar's Shield, which is essentially going to make our Fingerprint shield invulnerable to damage. And the Sacred Seal is going to allow us to use some incantations that are going to increase our offense and defense simultaneously. Before engaging in combat with a powerful enemy or even a boss, I like to do several things. The first thing we're going to do here is activate the Scholar's Shield spell, which is going to essentially make our shield completely invulnerable to damage. You will be able to dodge pretty much every attack in the game, whether it's a standard enemy or even a boss. The best thing about this spell, you only need 12 intelligence to cast it, and keep in mind guys, all of the items, weapons, spells that we go over in today's video, there's going to be links in the description below if you want to know exactly where you need to go to obtain them. After activating the Scholar's Shield spell, I like to switch to my seal, activate Golden Vow, which is going to increase our offense and defense by 15%. This stacks with Flame Grant Me Strength, which increases our physical and fire affinity attack power by an additional 20%. As you can see at the top left of the screen, we have a ton of buffs activated for our character, both offense and defense, including endurance. We now have incredible survivability, and the Royal Knight's Resolve, which gives us an additional 80% damage to our next attack, is literally going to turn us into a killing machine. If you are going to use a shield on your build, I honestly think the Fingerprint Stone Shield is the best in slot option. The guard boost is incredible, and your guarded damage negation against pretty much every type of attack in the game is going to be extremely high. One thing I feel like I have to mention, if you want to have the ability to actually use your L2 on PlayStation Ash of War for your weapon, you have to make sure you equip the no skill Ash of War on your shield. And don't forget, you need at least 48 strength to use this incredible great shield. The armor you wear is completely up to you. I'm a huge fan of the Fingerprint armor set. I think it looks really cool, and honestly I feel like it's one of the best looking armor sets in Elden Ring. For the talismans, I recommend using the DRAGONCREST Greatshield talisman, which is going to enormously boost our physical damage negation. The Curved Sword talisman is going to enhance our guard counters. The Old Lord's talisman is going to extend the spell effect duration of the Scholar's Shield spell, which is going to be extremely beneficial for us. And last but not least, one of the best in slot talismans to use for a strength build, the Green Turtle talisman, which raises our stamina recovery speed. For my quick items, I have 10 flasks of Crimson Tears, 3 flasks of the Cerulean Tears. We also have the flask of the Wondrous Physic, which I'm actually going to show you guys right now. For your Physic mix, I use the Stone Barb Crack Tier, which temporarily makes stance break easier. And you could also use the Opaline Hard Tier, which temporarily boosts all damage negation. Also, depending on the enemies that I fight, I also like to add some grease to my weapons. For example, I like using the Fire Grease for enemies that are weak against fire, and then another option, the Freezing Grease for any enemy or boss in the game that's weak against frost damage. If you want to see more builds similar to this one, I have all kinds of builds on my channel. If you enjoyed this video in any way, shape, or form, a thumbs up would be very much appreciated. Thank you guys so much for being here. Also, if you want to see more videos in the future, be sure to subscribe to the channel, become a part of the family, and I will definitely see you guys in the next one. Take care.